it's time for the Pizza Head Show.
Hey, everybody! Today we're going to learn how Pizza Hut makes their famous crust. Yay!
That's right, Pizza Head. And here's your friend Chef Steve to explain.
Oh, hi, Chef. Hey, wait a second. He's not a chef.
Sure he is. He just wants to show you how they make thin and crispy pizza. Of course, there's Bigfoot pizza. Or my favorite,
Falling here.
pan pizza.
Hey, that's hot. Oh, boy. Hey, woo, woo.
Well, that's all for today, kids. See you next time.
Hey, kid, you want to get nuked? It'll get you nice and crispy real fast.
Oh, I don't know.
Come on, give it a try. Lots of people are doing it.
Hey, cool bacon teens. Getting nuked in a microwave isn't keeping it real. It's keeping it wrong. Microwaves might seem like a clever shortcut, but making it into a Baconator means getting crispy the right way in an oven at Wendy's. Let's check back in with the gang and see how they did.
Well, how about it?
No, thanks. Getting nuked is for losers. If I start nuking now, I'll never achieve my dreams of becoming a Baconator. I'm out of here.
There are a lot of ways good bacon can go wrong. Make sure you're always done right. Pound symbol. Because Baconator.
Oh no. Not my limited time only ham prepared spicy smoky crispy KFC Nashville hot chicken with delightful pickles on top.
Switch on your light, Colonel dear.
Hello, ProStart 2 culinarians. Here we go. We are on our adventure with Chapter 1, an introduction to marketing, and everything to do with marketing and all the work that goes into it to try and persuade people to do one thing, to buy your product. Let's jump right in. This is Chef Hawks. Let's get rolling. So let's take a look at a marketing overview. So the market is the group that desires the product or the service. So it may be a small group of people, it may be a country, it may be a community, but it's that group of people that desire that product or service. It can be customers or guests, and sometimes even members, depending upon what type of business model you have. And so marketing is the communicating message that we use to market to our guests. It communicates the availability of a product or a service that they can use. And we may use social media to do this, but this is not the same as just advertising. It's much broader.
All of the activity that goes into marketing is called the marketing mix. Basically, it's the combination of all the factors that go into creating, developing, and selling a product. The traditional marketing mix is known as the 4 Ps: product, price, promotion, and place. A new model was created to face the more modern complexities that operations now face, called the contemporary marketing mix. It has 3 primary elements. The first element is the product-service mix. This refers to all of the food and services offered to the guests. It's also the way the restaurant provides food and products. Service is a huge part of the operations marketing, and offering things like ordering through a mobile app or curbside service all factor into the mix. The second element is the presentation mix, which includes all of the elements that make the operation look unique. The layout, its size, the type of furniture it uses, the decorations, color scheme, lighting, and service uniforms all contribute to the identity of the operation. The operation's aesthetic, or the way it looks and feels, is critical to the marketing and branding strategy. The third element is the communication mix. This includes all the ways the operation tries to reach or communicate with desired guests. An operation communicates with its guests using advertising through television, radio, newspapers, flyers, or websites. They also communicate through the menu, guest surveys, and internet social networking sites. A variety of methods is key in the operation's relationship with the market it serves. There's no doubt that all businesses need to engage in vigorous marketing activity. And in today's highly competitive restaurant and food service industry, a mix of marketing best serves guests here and now.
So let's go over the basic marketing concepts that we've been looking at. So in our marketing mix, so this is a combination of creation, development, and the sale of the products that we have. So in a traditional marketing plan, we include the 4 Ps. So we have our product, we have the price that we set, we have our promotion, and we have the place. Then we look at our contemporary marketing mix. Contemporary marketing mix meaning a newer style that some operations will go for. This was developed to meet the current marketing challenges in an ever-changing world. So this has 3 elements: the product-service mix, the presentation mix, and the communication mix. So looking at our 4 Ps, so we have product. So this would be maybe goods or services that customers want or possibly need. The price is determined by competition, the product cost, and by demand out in the marketplace, depending upon how many other people you can get that product from, depending on how much it costs to make that product in the first place, and then how much demand there is out there may actually drive the price of the product up, or it could even drop it back down again if there's no demand for it. Then the promotion, the message that advances the sale of that product, and then the place where you have that product for sale. So when we're looking at the contemporary marketing mix, this is where we have the product-service mix. This is where you have all your foods and services. It's important to compete with similar operations in this setting. And then the presentation mix is how an operation looks, the layout, the size, the furniture that it has, the decorations, the lighting, and the uniforms, because these can vary widely. If you look at the lighting that you have in a McDonald's, it's very white and light and sterile compared to a fine dining restaurant in the evenings where they may have dim lighting, they may have some candle lights, things like that to make it more comfortable so you stay for longer. It all depends upon what your plan is for your sales. And then the communication mix. So this is how you're doing all of the various different methods to communicate with your guests. So this might be advertising, using on your menu, guest feedback, social networking and social media use.
A marketing plan is a list of steps an operation must take to sell a product or service to a specific market. Every marketing plan will have 5 main components. The first step is to research the market. It's important to know the ins and outs of the market. Basically, know what you are up against. Marketers gather information from a variety of sources: guests, employees, and the community. This information builds the foundation for management decisions ahead. Once the research phase is over, the next step is to establish objectives or goals. These clearly state what the operation will accomplish within a set time frame. Providing not just goals, but deadlines for achieving the goals gives the operation something to work toward. Goals and timelines also shape the third step, which is developing a market strategy. At this point, managers and marketers brainstorm ways to make the objectives happen. It is helpful to come up with a number of different strategies and then evaluate the pros and cons of each one. Often, the strategy chosen will be a hybrid of the various strategies proposed. The strategy is put into action for the next step, which is implementing an action plan. With an action plan, marketers and management put theory into practice. Operations will actually make changes to the menus, adjust pricing, and purchase advertising. The last step in the marketing plan is evaluating and modifying the action plan. This is an ongoing process of monitoring the actions taken by the operation to see how successful they are. Asking and answering questions can help with continuous improvement with the action plan. It also helps inform future marketing plans, making the operation competitive in an ever-changing marketplace.
As we saw there, the marketing plan is going to have 5 different steps in here. So we list all of the steps to sell that product or service. we direct a specific market, and we use different ideas for each operation to make them work. So we have to research that market in the first place. That's your first step towards being successful in marketing. You have to find information from guests, employees, the community, government offices, so that you actually understand exactly what's in demand out there, so that you can actually produce a product that people are going to want. This will show the strengths and weaknesses of your product. You need to establish what your objective is, have goals that you need to be accomplishing, and have them set in a time frame with deadlines, so that way you'll understand if you're succeeding or if you need to make adjustments. Develop that marketing strategy with ways to achieve that objective. Weigh up the pros and cons. Sometimes things go well, sometimes things don't, and you need to make a change to make sure that you're not just continuing to fail at something. And collaborate to find the best strategy with others. Then you're going to be implementing the action plan. Put that strategy into practice. Make changes accordingly as well. And then at the end, you're going to evaluate what exactly happened, and you may have to modify it so that if you continue, you'll actually be successful. Make sure that you're never just sitting down and saying, well, I guess it just didn't work. All that work that you've put into it, all of that money and the time and effort you and your employees may have put into it, you want to see if there's any other way of making it work if it didn't that first time round. So determine the success of that strategy. Revise the plan when necessary. You have to monitor that promotional scheme as well. So develop the promotional scheme. You can work with public relations firms who are experts in this type of field, and then plan that new promotion that you're going to put out there with your product. Track those sales so that you understand if it was the promotional scheme that helped those sales, and then discuss the positive and negative effects of that promotion.
There are times when an operation needs to evaluate where and how it stands, and how to take advantage of opportunities that may be open to them. A SWOT analysis is a situation assessment that helps to identify a restaurant or food service operation's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, or threats. Marketers can use a SWOT analysis as a good assessment tool to evaluate if a current plan is working, or to see what is going on in the market. To do a SWOT analysis, start with listing the strengths of the operation, the areas where it excels. Examples of strengths include a well-trained staff, a good location, well-kept and clean facilities, high food quality, and service that exceeds guest expectations. The next step is to identify the operation's weaknesses. Do this so that they can eventually be eliminated. Some examples of weaknesses could be a boring menu, high staff turnover, or poor reputation. The next step is to analyze opportunities. These are the areas where the operation could either increase revenues or decrease costs. Examples might include launching a delivery or takeout service, recognizing a weakness in the competition, or gaining a volume discount from a supplier. One goal should be to make the most use of identified opportunities. The last step is identifying threats. These are the factors outside the operation that could decrease revenue or increase costs. Knowing the threats helps to control them. Examples of possible threats include increased competition, increased taxes or costs, or even things like road construction. By evaluating different elements of the operation, you are able to identify which parts need improving and which are working well. After a SWOT evaluation, management will know how successful their past efforts were and get ideas on where to invest money and energy in the future.
So when we segment our market down, the target marketing that we're using is always going to be guest driven. That's who's going to be pushing for our sales, and so that's who we need to be focusing our eyes on. So it treats people as different individuals with different interests. This is the way that we can start working out who will want it and who probably won't be interested, and rather than wasting time on those who will never buy your product, figure out those who are the easiest to reach. It's going to focus the marketing appeal to specific guests and help the operation target resources towards those specific customers. Let's take a look at how we do some of these things. So mass marketing assumes that everyone has the same needs and wants, and that restaurants and food service operations should avoid this type of thing because it just wastes time and resources. A restaurant generally doesn't have a huge marketing budget to be able to work with, and so if you're just sending out the same advertising to 1 million people in the area, you may find that only a couple of thousand of those people have any interest in your product. So why on earth waste your money trying to market to so many people? Because this can be very expensive. A SWOT analysis is also called a situation assessment. This is where it's literally looking at what your business or what your particular product is and does within its marketplace at the time. So it stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So this will determine the success of an operations strategy and is used to make improvements on a business. So let's take a look at strengths. These are the area where the operation is already excelling. So this can be that it's clean facilities, high food quality, good service, and it's exceeding expectations. What are your weaknesses? So this is what the operation should eliminate from its business plan. So this might be that it has dirty facilities, or it has high staff turnover, or it has poor quality service. When we look at opportunities, this is where the area of the operation can improve upon and have a large effect. It can increase revenues, decrease costs, maybe creating a delivery service or getting a volume discount. And this can also identify as a plan for your marketing plan. And now threats. The outside factors that can decrease revenues or increase your costs, making a business untenable. And also, you have to identify all these threats so that you can control them, so that you can actually take control of your business and what's going on from outside, the forces that are outside. So this could be increased competition that's out there, increased costs, or road construction, various things like that could be happening right outside your business that can have a drastic effect. Or COVID. Obviously, this has been a massive threat to a lot of hospitality organizations. So let's take a look at a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats analysis for a McDonald's. So this is looking at one single McDonald's, and we're taking, first of all, let's look at the internal items, the strengths and weaknesses up at the top. So strengths, we have a successful advertising and brand name recognition is huge. We have a collaboration with Coke that's very popular. We have a clean environment and a play space for kids. We have professional training for employees, which offers amazing advancement from just working on that till all the way up into the corporate arena. So then when we look at our weaknesses, well, we have weak product development. To take a new McDonald's item from its first development stage in their labs all the way through to production and actually being out in the restaurants can take a significant length of time to do. Months or even years of product research can go into these types of things. And so that can mean that your menu may seem stagnant after a while. Also, depending on the skill of your management or the franchisee or joint venture, you may actually have some weaknesses there as well through lack of training. And then when we look down at the bottom, the external threats, the threats coming from outside, the opportunities and threats involve opportunities. We have internationalization, because you have McDonald's on every street corner all over the world, but still they're only serving about 1% of the population. So the fact is, they still have a long way to go before they can really be completely saturated, certainly in their opinion. And then there's a growing dining out market in the United States and in lots of other countries around the world as people have busier and busier lives focusing on other things apart from cooking for themselves. So these are all opportunities. But then when we look at threats, we have more health-conscious consumers in this country and around the world who may look at your food as just being fried food. This is why McDonald's has looked at that also as an opportunity in recent years to try and make more salad items, fruit, and some more healthy options as well. There's also threats from local competitors in different countries as well. There's also global economic recessions can have a massive effect on the ability for McDonald's to make a significant amount of money, because they have to have a massive number of people come through their operations in order for them to make a good success financially. And then also playing in a mature and saturated industry that the fast food industry is, where there are thousands of different restaurants all over this country alone that are opportunities for customers to go to that may not be yours. So after you've done your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threat analysis, you then need to evaluate the different elements that need improvement. So this helps to identify all of those and then determine the success of past efforts. Invest money and time in benefits for guests and employees and watch your business flourish.
There are many ways to communicate with an operation's target market, and the way an operation goes about this process is called the promotional mix. The promotional mix includes things like advertising, sales promotions, personal selling, public relations, and direct marketing. Basically, all of the different ways to communicate with your target market. The first element in the promotional mix is advertising. This is the process of paying to present or promote a product, service, or identity to help increase exposure to your brand. Advertising is found in many mediums: television, radio, newspapers, storefronts, and the internet. And it can be a powerful communication tool for any operation. Another element of the promotional mix is the sales promotion. Sales promotions are typically limited or short-term incentives to entice guests to patronize an operation. For example, offering 2-for-1 entrees is a sales promotion. Creativity in coming up with smart sales promotions can greatly enhance business. The next piece in the mix is personal selling. This is simply where well-trained service staff communicate an operation's message to the guest. Basically, great service and staff speaks for itself as marketing. In fact, face-to-face interactions between service staff and guests may be the best way to solidify an operation's credibility and identity in a competitive market. The promotional mix also includes public relations, which is the process of an operation interacting with the community at large. Good relations can gain favorable publicity and enhance the operation's image. For example, sponsoring local sports teams or holding a charity event at an operation are both ways to build bridges with the public. The last element in the promotional mix is direct marketing. This is done by making an effort to connect directly with a certain segment of the market. Things like direct mail and email, telephone calls, website interaction, or tableside feedback are all examples of direct marketing. These connections help get immediate responses from guests and help build longer-term relationships. There are many ways to effectively communicate with the target market, and the elements of the promotional mix assist in delivering the operation's message in a variety of methods.
Let's work our way through our promotional mix then. So, advertising, first and foremost. This is probably the most visible thing that we see out there every single day, all over our world. So, this is where you're physically paying for marketing to promote your products or services, and using multiple different types of mediums. As you can see right here, this is actually a spot in London, over in Piccadilly Circus, where this entire space completely moves. And then sales promotions. These will be short-term incentives and promotions that you're trying to get customers to have an interest in your product. It's a way to identify your items based on recurring promotions. You can actually see just the success that you're having with this. Then there's personal selling, face-to-face interaction. So this is when you're literally sitting down with someone or having a conversation face-to-face with someone, communicating about the operation's message, their products, and services. So something in hospitality like this could involve concierge on the front desk in a hotel, where when you arrive to get into your hotel room, rather than that person just giving you the key and letting you go up to your room, they may say, well, would you like to have the larger guest suite? Well, yeah, actually that would be nice, and maybe they can fill up their hotel premium rooms just by having that face-to-face interaction and telling the guests all about it. And there's public relations. So this is the operations interaction with the local community. So this enhances the image with favorable publicity. This is also called free press at times as well. This is where you want to make sure that you have these links with your local community. That restaurant might sponsor a little league team or something like that, just so that way, all the time that team is playing, they'll see the name of that company on their shirts because that company may have purchased those shirts, or it might give them free pizza when they've finished playing their games, or it might just give them a meeting space. Various different things like that can help with that local organization, or they may do something with a charitable organization in town. But always having that connection with your community is key. And then direct marketing, this is where you connect directly with specific market segments. So this includes mailing, emails, telephone calls, website feedback, or actually looking at social media as well. This is where you can directly pinpoint certain people within the community you're looking to get. The types of sales promotions can include special types of pricing, limited time reduced pricing like coupons and specials, low risk opportunities. This would be a low risk opportunity for a customer to be able to try out that product where otherwise they may decide against it. And then you have frequent shopper programs. This rewards people for continuing to patronize your operation. You might have free items or discounts after the first number of coffees they drink or whatever it might be. And then you have premiums. Premiums are free or reduced price branded merchandise items. Some of these it could even literally be a pen that has your brand on it. Something relatively small, but you might receive for free with a purchase in your establishment. You may have special events going on where you might have a special person that might be in town who might come to your restaurant, or you might have a band who's playing in your restaurant, or live music playing in your restaurant that gives that one time or maybe a periodic incentive for people to come in. You may offer samples, some free small items for people to try. It may be a half-size appetizer that you let the table share just to see if they're interested in getting a full size. This is an opportunity for a guest or a customer to be able to try a new item that otherwise they may not have chosen. And then we have contests and sweepstakes. So this is where you would have a program for customers to be able to win prizes. So a big one is companies like McDonald's and Burger King who have scratch-off items from their different food products, where you may get another free food product, or you might win a bigger prize than that even. There's lots of different materials that restaurants and hotels and hospitality establishments can use, either all over their own business site, or it may be virtually as well. So you've got different signage. You have email promotions that you might send out to people in your database. You have premiums, as we talked about, the small branded items that may be giveaways. Then you have carry-out or door hanger menus. These are the types of things where you may give out a paper copy of your menu, or you have a large door hanger right at your door showing the whole menu so that people can look and see if they're interested before they go in. You may have branded apparel and merchandise for people to be able to purchase from you as well, which that just helps you out, because when people see others who are wearing or using products that have your name on it, then that just reinforces not just you advertising to someone, but that someone believes in your brand and is willing to even buy something with your branding on it. And then you have point of purchase materials. These are the actual ones that are specifically in your establishment and close to the actual point of purchase. And then you have merchandising materials like table tents that you might actually have in the middle of your table, advertising certain specials and things and services you may have. Then you have direct mail. If you have a list of your customers who you want to send things out to, who have been past customers, who may be good people to want to come back. Then you have different cross-selling opportunities as well, where there may be more than one thing involved, where it could be that you're offering, if you purchase a beverage, then you get a free appetizer, or something like that, where there's a couple of different things playing into that selling opportunity. And then social media giveaways are now very popular because you can reach a lot of people and it doesn't cost a lot of money to be able to reach a significant number of people on social media. Then you look at cooperative sales promotions. So this involves 2 or more sponsors that might develop complementary promotions and promotional materials to work together on things. So as you can see right here in Bank of America Stadium, sponsor number 1, you have the Carolina Panthers who are playing with that, and that's their product that they're showing what they have to offer, and it attracts tens of thousands of people to go and watch. And then Pepsi advertises right in the middle of it as well, and you can go ahead and you can buy a Pepsi while you're there paying for your Carolina Panther game. So all of these things can work in tandem together to create more business between everybody. Now, when it comes to public relations, it's important to generate positive publicity. And this can be a dangerous and tricky thing to try and follow, so always be careful with the image that you put out there. Make sure you engage with community affairs, that you're always seen as trying to help the community grow and benefit from you being there. This means that when you actually have some downtimes or some quiet times, that your community will still back you. And that's a significant thing for a restaurant to be able to maintain its business. Show local support, whether it's to a local football team, whether it's to a charitable organization, whether it's to just cleaning up the street or something like that. So there's 2 different types of relationships that you need to look at when you're looking at public relations, and that's media relations and community relations. So the community are the people who live there, and the media are the people who may be reporting on what you're doing in that community. So make sure that when you come down to community relations, that you're interacting with the local area, including hosting charity events, giving tours, sponsoring teams, finding ways to give back, and building credibility and positive relationships within that community. So paying yearly dues and meeting fees for those different charitable organizations or for the sports teams and things like that. Volunteering and making donations within your community as well. And then having an investment in that community and the business can really pay off significantly. Various different methods of offering discounts to that sports team maybe, or donating a percentage of your sales to that sports team, or just offering your facility or services to that sports team, maybe offering them dinner at the end of a successful game. When it comes to working with media relations, you have to make sure that you're careful about how you do this. So this involves things like newspapers, magazines, television, and radio. You can actually send out press releases and media kits to these organizations. So a press release is a brief presentation written kind of like a news article. As you see over on the right-hand side here, Apple will release this type of press release saying Apple sells over 300,000 iPads on the first day. And they give a whole spiel on there that's all about what the media would be looking for. If you make it easy for the media to be able to put a story out there by literally just copying and pasting what your story is, they'll probably do it. And they may even just add a little extra in there for you as well. But it's generally going to be a positive thing if you've given them something positive to talk about. A media kit, or sometimes called a press kit, is information that's given to those media reps as well. It's trying to reach those target markets as you're going. What kind of information would you give to the media? Well, these are some good examples right here. So some general information about your company, maybe your menu as well, so that they can see that and study that. Some different articles or photographs that highlight your restaurant. And we're not looking at photographs that are taken with just with a phone or something like that. We're talking about professionally placed pictures that really show off in a great light your restaurant. And then any recent awards that you've had as well, because it's always good to brag about those types of things, because it reinforces to your current customers that yes, I made a good decision in coming here, and for possible customers that are thinking about coming, it reinforces to them that yes, you really need to give this place a try. And then any promotional materials and press releases that are added in there as well.
Okay, now the persuasion equation hits what we call the 4 Ps. One is that we need to address the problem. So the initial problem we're addressing for the person at home looking at the ad is, we have pizza, they need pizza. But the thing is, everybody's advertising pizza, so you're still just lost in the crowd. So the second part of this equation is that we're going to make a promise. And the promise is, okay, not only do we have pizza, wow, the best pizza in town. But you know what? Doesn't everybody say that? So the third part of the persuasion equation is to add proof. Okay, so again, we've addressed the problem. We've said best pizza you've ever had, but whoa. What have we done here? We have amplified this promise. The best pizza you've ever had, or your money back. Okay, that's what we call proof. Who could do that if this pizza wasn't good, right? Okay, and then we further enhance this with adding some copy. We make the finest, tastiest pizza you'll find anywhere. Should you ever be disappointed if we fail you in any way or let you down for any reason, please let me know. If I can't make it right, I'll refund your money, every penny. Karington, owner. So now we've addressed the problem. We've got pizza. We've said it's really good pizza. And now we're proving it with this strong guarantee. Now, the final part of the persuasion equation is to make the proposition. Now, I want to back you up for just a second, because notice what we've done here. What we've done is we started off at $12.99, but as we increased, as we went from problem promise to proof, we've now created more perceived value. So we're up to $14.99. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make the killer offer. This is the proposition. And so, got pizza, we're making a promise, we're proving it. Now the proposition, we're amping this thing up. Large 2-topping pizza, 3 sodas, and free cheese sticks. What's this? $17.99. Now, if you remember, we started at $12.99. We're up $5 now because of what we've done to amp up our ad. And notice that we're adding these things in value add instead of discounting. And my friends, this is the persuasion equation. And what you've done is not only address the problem, made a promise, proved that promise, made a killer proposition, but you've done what most ads never do. Most ads simply focus on these two things. I got pizza, and here's a discount. You're coming in here and putting some teeth in your ad.
As you can see, when it comes to marketing, it's not just an accident that happens when successes happen in restaurants or any other establishment that's marketing to its customer. It's all about using strategies and understanding exactly how it is that we take a product and we launch it, and we make sure that as many people who will be interested in that will understand it and will want to come in and eat or purchase all of your products. I hope that this was informative for you, and I look forward to seeing you in the kitchen. Cheers!